Hello friends, in this session we are going to discuss about the important questions for entrance examinations like JEE Mains, BITSAT, IIT, MCET and NEET. So we are going to discuss the previously given questions, especially in 2018 JEE Mains questions we are going to discuss here. Which of the following salt is most basic in aqueous solution? Here, four options are given. Among four options, which one gives the most basic compound when they are in aqueous solution? That means by hydrolysis, which will give the strong base. When we are taking this potassium acetate is the salt formed by weak acid versus strong base. Here weak acid is acetic acid and strong base potassium hydroxide. So option 1 is the correct answer. Remaining all are able to give mild bases, but in case of this option 1, alkali metal hydroxide, that is potassium hydroxide, is formed. Let us see the explanation for this one. When potassium acetate reacts with water, strong base KOH and weak acid acetic acid are evolved. That's the reason why option 1 is the correct answer. Which of the following are Lewis acids? So this is the second question. Which of the following are Lewis acids? Lewis acid is nothing but, so the compound which contains a vacant orbital and able to accept lone pair of electrons. Lone pair of electrons acceptor is called Lewis acid. Lone pair of electrons donor is called Lewis base. Among all the given options, BCl3 and AlCl3 both have vacant p orbitals. That's the reason why these two are called the Lewis acids, because they belongs to third group elements. So third group or 13th group, in which here what NS2 NP1 configuration will be there. So two electrons are required to complete the octet. So BCl3, AlCl3 both have vacant p orbitals and incomplete octet. Therefore, both BCl3 and AlCl3 acts as Lewis acids. Hence, correct option is option number 3. BCl3 and AlCl3 both have vacant p orbitals and they act as Lewis acids. Our next question: an alkali is titrated against base. Alkali is nothing but base only. An alkali is titrated against acid in the presence of methyl orange indicator. Which of the following is the correct combination? Methyl orange in basic medium, it is in yellow color. In acidic medium, it is in pinkish red color. So when alkali is titrated against acid, methyl orange indicator is used in that reaction. What is the correct combination? When strong base was taken, initial color will be yellow. When strong acid was taken, at the end point color will be pinkish red. But here options are given in the reverse way. That's why option 1 is not the correct answer. In the second one, weak base was taken, color is yellow. Strong acid was titrated, at the end point color will be pinkish red. So here correct option is given, that's why. So according to the statement, the correct answer will be weak base initially with methyl orange, it will give yellow color. After the titration, at the end point color changes to pinkish red. So acidic medium methyl orange shows pinkish red color, whereas in basic medium it shows yellow color. In this given question, original solution is basic, therefore initial color is yellow. Finally, it is titrated with acid to final color pinkish red. The correct option will be option number 2. Total number of lone pair of electrons in I3 minus ion are. I3 minus is nothing but iodine. 3 iodine atoms are in linear shape. It is the linear molecule. In this linear molecule, as already we know, each halogen contains 3 lone pair of electrons. Here 3 lone pairs. Central iodine also have 3 lone pairs, and this terminal iodine also have 3 lone pairs. Central iodine also contains one negative charge, being it is a I3 minus anion. That's the reason why here negative charge is also located. Hence, total number of lone pair of electrons are 3 plus 3, 6 plus 3, 9. 9 lone pair of electrons are present. Option number 2 is the correct answer. The next question: which of the following reaction will be suitable for Zildal's method for nitrogen estimation? Nitrogen is the, Zeldol's method is the characteristic reaction for the estimation of nitrogen. It will give quantitative estimation. Quantitative estimation in the sense how much amount of nitrogen is present, that exact amount can be calculated by the Zeldol's method. Zeldol's method is suitable for the determination of ammonia, ammonium ion and aniline. Ammonia, ammonium ion and aniline. Among all the given options, here it is aniline. That's why it can be identified, it can be estimated by using Zeldol's method. Nitrobenzene, benzene diazonium salt and pyridine cannot be estimated by using Zeldol's method. Hence the correct answer is option number 1. Zeldol's method is used for the quantitative analysis of nitrogen compound in organic substance. NH3, NH4 plus. NH3 is nothing but ammonia. NH4 plus is nothing but ammonium ion. And it is also suitable for aniline. Hence the correct option will be option number 1. Next question. The compound that does not produce nitrogen gas upon thermal decomposition reaction. When the compound subjected to thermal decomposition reaction, which will not generate nitrogen gas, we have to find out. When ammonium dichromate is heated, it used to liberate nitrogen gas in the reaction. Here the chemical reactions are also mentioned upon thermal heating, thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition is nothing but when we are heating to high temperature, how they involved in cleavage and how it involved in decomposition, we have to mention here. Here, ammonium dichromate when subjected to heating to high temperature. Here, Cr2O3 plus nitrogen and water is generated. This is ammonium nitrite. Ammonium nitrite upon thermal decomposition generates nitrogen and water. Hence, it is also generating. When ammonium sulfate was taken, it releases ammonia upon thermal decomposition, but not nitrogen. So this is only the correct option. So it is the odd option among all the 4 options given. Then barium azide, BaN3 taken twice is called barium azide. Barium azide on thermal decomposition gives barium and nitrogen molecule. So here the compound that does not produce nitrogen gas upon thermal decomposition is ammonium sulfate. Option number 3 is the correct answer. The next question. The metal M is treated with sodium hydroxide, which generates compound X. This is soluble in excess of sodium hydroxide. Compound X, when heated, strongly gives oxide, which is used in the chromatography as an adsorbent. The metal M is. Here, 4 options are given. Metal is treated with NaOH. Most probably metals are alkali or alkaline earth metals. So when that case is there, S block elements are there, they are not treated with NaOH because they are basic in nature and NaOH is also basic nature. That's the reason why here the compound should be amphoteric, otherwise slightly acidic in nature, then only it is reacted with NaOH. Here calcium is alkaline earth metal, it is not possible. And the second one, aluminium. Aluminium is the best example for amphoteric metal, hence it can be reacted with NaOH. So when aluminium treated with NaOH, formation of aluminium hydroxide, that is white gelatinous precipitate formation is possible. This aluminium hydroxide, when dissolved in excess of sodium hydroxide, here the formation of sodium meta-aluminate is possible. This is called sodium meta-aluminate, which is water soluble compound. The sodium meta-aluminate formation indicates here the given compound is aluminium, and when we are taking this compound X is aluminium hydroxide. This aluminium hydroxide subjected to strong heating, it involved in dehydration. When it is dehydrated, it is converted into Al2O3, which is called alumina. Alumina is the better adsorbing agent. It is the better adsorbing agent in the chromatography. That's the reason why the correct answer is option number 2. Metal M taken is aluminium. X is aluminium hydroxide. Final compound used for the adsorption process is Al2O3. Our next question. According to molecular orbital theory, which of the following will not be viable molecule? Viable molecule in the sense which is not viable in the sense which is not existed, which is not possible to form. Molecular orbital theory is the Advanced method which used to give the type of bonding between atomic orbitals, how they are bonding, and how distribution of electrons are possible in molecular orbitals, what are bonding, what are anti-bonding, then how can we calculate bond energy, how can we calculate bond order, means number of bonds between the atoms, and what is the magnetic property, whether it is diamagnetic or paramagnetic, can be identified by using this molecular orbital theory. According to molecular orbital theory, which of the following is not existed, not viable in the sense not existed. When we are taking hydrogen to -2, in case of this hydrogen to -2, the configuration of hydrogen to -2 is sigma 1s2 and sigma star 1s2. This is the molecular orbital configuration. In bonding molecular orbital, 2 electrons are there. Anti-bonding molecular orbital is also 2 electrons. This is isoelectronic with helium molecule, because helium is a 2 electron system. Here also hydrogen minus is a 2 electron system. Hence same configuration as helium molecular orbitals. Then when we apply this bond order, if bond order becomes a 0, that molecule is not existed. Then H2 minus 2 bond order calculation, number of electrons in bonding minus number of electrons in anti-bonding by 2. Substitute bonding electrons 2, anti-bonding electrons 2 by 2 is equal to 0. Bond order becomes a 0 for H2 minus 2. Hence, it is not possible to frame this type of molecule. So, it is non-viable molecule. H2 minus 2, correct option is option number 3. And the next question, the increasing order of basicity of the following compounds. Here, this is the best example for primary amine. There is no conjugation between this double bond and lone pair of electrons. It is far apart. So it is a simple example for primary amine. And this is the example for imine. Imine is nothing but sp2 hybridized nitrogen will be there. Then this is here lone pair of electrons and nitrogen are in conjugation with double bond. That's why here extent of liberation will be more. This is a simple example for secondary amine where ethyl, methyl amine will be there. This is a secondary amine. Here, basicity of the given compound mainly depends upon ease of releasing electrons. That's why among all the given options, compound C having conjugation and more prone to release the electron, C is the highest basic compound. And the next option, primary amine, secondary amine. Secondary amine is more basic compared to primary because 2 + I affecting groups are releasing electrons, so that ease of release electrons are more in case of compound D. So option number C followed by D. And after this secondary amine, primary amine stood in the next place. So this is a primary amine which used to release the electrons because one alkyl group is releasing electrons. So option number A comes in next place. Imine is least basic, being a sp2 hybridized nitrogen. Greater the S character, greater will be the electronegativity, so that electron releasing tendency is reduced. So option number 2 is the correct answer. Imine, primary amine, secondary amine, and conjugated amine will be there. Order of basic nature mainly depends upon electron donation tendency. Electron donation tendency is highest in case of option number 3. That's why this correct order will be B, A, D, C. Let us go to next question. Which type of defect has the presence of cations in the interstitial positions? Interstitial position in the sense, when we are taking the lattice structure of any molecule, so lattice structure of the metal, if cation or anion completely removed from the lattice point, that is called the Schottky defect. If that cation displaced from its site and localized within the lattice structure only, within the interstitial structure only, that is called the Frenkel defect. Here, mostly cations can be displaced because they are having smaller size compared to anions. Anions will fit into the lattice points. Cations can be easily mobilized. That's the reason why. So here cation can be removed from their original site and occupies the interstitial position in Frenkel defect. That's why answer is Frenkel defect. In case of Frenkel defect, densities will not be varied because metal ion is not completely removed from the system. Just it is displaced from its original site but remains within the lattice structure only. Whereas Schottky defect generates lower density values because in case of Schottky defect, metal ion is completely displaced from the lattice site. That's why Schottky defect causes decreasing the density values, whereas Frenkel defect, there is no change in their density, but only position can be slightly varied. The defect is Frenkel. In this phase of defect, some of the ions, usually cations due to their smaller size, missing from their correct position and occupies the interstitial regions. The correct option is option number 2. Next question. In standardization of sodium hydroxide solution, the following one is used as a primary standard. Sodium hydroxide is a basic solution. We need acid for the standardization. Here, standard solutions are again two types, primary and secondary standard. Primary standard in the sense whose concentration will not be varied with time, which remains constant forever. Even we are storing for longer time, which cannot be changed. That is called primary standard. Here, in order to standardize sodium hydroxide, oxalic acid used as a primary standard solution. The correct answer is option number 3. All these questions are repeated in 2018 JEE mains. So we are discussing these questions in this session. When XO2 is fused with an alkali metal hydroxide in the presence of oxidizing agents such as KNO3 potassium nitrate, a dark green product is formed which disproportionates in acidic solution to afford a dark purple color solution. The X is. XO2 is fused with alkali metal hydroxide in the presence of oxidizing agents such as KNO3, a dark green color solution. When it is manganese oxide, then it is treated with KOH solution. What happens? It is converted into K2MnO4. So K2MnO4 exists in dark green color, which is treated with this what acidic solution. So it is treated with acidic solution. It is dissociated into CaMnO4. This CaMnO4 is dark purple color solution. Hence the correct answer will be, it is the manganese oxide. Manganese oxide treated with KOH, formation of K2MnO4 is possible. Under acidic conditions, it is converted into CaMnO4. K2MnO4 is a green color solution. KMnO4 is a purple color solution. The correct answer will be manganese. The next question. Product A and B in the following reaction are respectively. We have to identify what are A and B. When we are taking ammonium acetate salt, ammonium acetate, this is a quaternary ammonium acetate salt. It is treated with HNO2. HNO2 addition is called a diazotization process for aromatic amines. When it is subjected to diazotization, we will get benzene diazonium salt. Diazonium salt formation is possible. Compound A will be diazonium salt. Here we are adding aniline. C6H5NH2 is called aniline. When it is treated with aniline, it is the active benzene ring compound. So diazonium salt, when treated with active benzene ring compound, so they involved in coupling reaction. The product B will be, so that is azo coupled product formation is possible. Now let us see which option satisfies this condition. This is the diazonium salt. Option 1 matches with the A, and here the coupled product is generated. This is only the correct answer. Option 1 is the correct answer. Where, so here quaternary ammonium salt when treated with HNO2, this is the diazonium acetate salt is generated. This compound A is this diazonium salt, and when it is treated with aniline, here aza coupled product is generated. Here in aniline, para hydrogens are more active. They are removed with this acetate ion in the form of acetic acid. Aza substituted coupled product formation is possible. Remaining options are not correct. Here detailed mechanism for that reaction was mentioned, where quaternary ammonium acetate salt is treated with HNO2. We will get this diazonium acetate salt. This diazonium acetate salt when treated with aniline, aniline is C6H5NH2. here coupled product B is generated. And the next question, in the complexometric titration between metal and ligand, formation of complex is possible. Endpoint is estimated spectrochemically. If metal and complex do not absorb light, only ligand absorbs, then the titration plot is plotted between absorption versus volume of ligand. Then what will be the shape of the plot? In this reaction, metal and complex are not absorbing light. Only ligand is absorbing light. Initially, metal plus ligand, what happens? They involved in the chemical reaction, they consumed. So, when ligand is consumed in this complexation, there is no change in the light emission. That's why it remains constant. After the complexation, if we are still adding volume of ligand, what happens? Its volume is gradually increasing so that its absorption of light is also gradually increases. That's the reason why option 1 is satisfying the given condition. Initially, it remains constant being ligand is involved in complexation. After complexation, slowly ligand concentration increases. That's the reason why absorption of light is also increased. Option 1 satisfying this answer. The next, the extraction of copper from the sulfide ore, initially it is finally obtained by the oxidation of cuprous sulfide with. So in case of copper pyrites, copper sulfide ore is called copper pyrites. How can we extract pure copper from this copper pyrites? This copper pyrite should be oxidized with the cuprous oxide. This is called cuprous oxide. Cuprous oxide is used as the oxidizing agent in this reaction so that metallic copper and sulfur dioxide are evolved. The correct answer is oxidizing agent used is cuprous oxide. Option number 3 is the correct answer. Among the oxides of nitrogen, N2O3, N2O4, N2O5, the molecule having nitrogen-nitrogen bond. As the number of oxygens increases, what happens? So two nitrogens are separated by oxygen linkage, that is ether linkage is possible. That's the reason why initial oxides like N2O3 and N2O4 both have nitrogen-nitrogen direct bond. That's the reason why N2O3 and N2O4, where in which one satisfying N2O3 and N2O4 both contains direct nitrogen-nitrogen linkage. The correct answer will be option number 1. In the next question, which of the following conversion there is a change in hybridization and shape of the molecule is possible? So here, when reactant converted into product, hybridization and structure of the molecule should be changed. Let us go with one by one. Water is the bent molecule and oxygen is sp3 hybridized. This is H3O plus, which is also hydronium ion. Again, it is bent molecule and sp3 hybridized oxygen will be there. So it is not the correct answer. There should be change in hybridization and shape of the molecule. BF3 is trigonal planar, which is sp2 hybridized boron. BF4 minus is sp3 hybridized and tetrahedral in nature. Here, hybridization and shape both are changed. BF3 is a triangular planar, which is sp2 hybridized boron is there. BF4 minus, where sp3 hybridization and the structure will be tetrahedral. The correct option will be option number 2. When we are taking methane and ethane, both are sp3 hybridized carbons and both possess tetrahedral structure. So it is also not matching. Ammonia, ammonium, it is tetrahedral sp3 hybridized. It is also tetrahedral sp3 hybridized. The correct answer will be option number 2. The most polar compound among the following. So here, polarity will be there when bond displacement is extremely high. When electronegative atoms are in conjugated system, then polarity will be extremely high. Here, lone pair of electrons will, fluorine will drag the bonded electron towards this side, so that this bond delocalization is possible, so that here lone pair of electrons involved in delocalization. This is the exact conjugation system where delocalization is more convenient, hence it will be the more polar system. In case of this compound, option number 3, we have exact conjugation. Double bond vector of CF bond is not subtractive. Hence, option number 3 is the correct answer. The next question, very, very important. This is the named reaction Wilkinson catalyst. In the Wilkinson catalyst, central metal hybridization and shape of the molecule respectively. In the Wilkinson catalyst, what is the hybridization of the central metal and what is the shape of central metal? We have to, shape of the total compound we have to identify. Here, Wilkinson catalyst is chloro, triphenyl phosphine, rhodium complex. It is the complex chloro, triphenyl phosphine, rhodium complex. So this is a Wilkinson catalyst. It is a square planar compound. Always square planar compounds are dsp2 hybridized. That's the reason why option number 3 satisfying this Wilkinson catalyst. It is dsp2 hybridized and a square planar. Rhodium ClPPH3 taken thrice is the molecular formula of this complex. The incorrect geometry is represented by incorrect geometry. NF3 is triangular planar. It is wrong option because NF3 in the central nitrogen is sp3 hybridized. That's why it is a pyramidal structure. It is not a planar. Planar structure will be given when central atom is sp2 hybridized. But here it is sp3 hybridized and the structure is pyramidal. So this is not the correct answer. BF3 trigonal planar, it is the correct answer only. Arsenic pentafluoride trigonal bipyramidal. So sp3 dehybridization will give trigonal bipyramidal. This is also correct option. Water is a bent molecule. Being two lone pair of electrons and oxygen, it is a bent molecule. This is also correct answer. The only wrong answer is NF3, where sp3 hybridization and pyramidal structure will be there. It is not planar. Option number 1 is the correct answer. And the next question, which of the following complexes will show geometrical isomerism? In order to exhibit the geometrical isomerism, two chelate rings. In case of chelation compound, chelate in the sense when a single compound having 2 points of liberation of electron, two sides are able to release electron pairs. At least it should be bidentate, otherwise tridentate, tetradentate. In that case, chelation is possible. Chelation in the sense cyclic compound is generated. One end is releasing electrons and second end is also releasing electrons. In case of such chelating compounds, if two chelating functional groups are on the same side, it is called cis isomer. If two chelating rings are on the opposite side, this is called a trans isomer. So this is the best example for geometrical isomerism. Restricted rotation cis trans isomerism is called geometrical. That's the reason why here ethylene diamine, En stands for ethylene diamine. It is the bidentate ligand. So this is only the correct option, aqua chloro bis. When chelating ligand is there, two ligands when present, it is called bis. Three ligands called a tris. Here two ethylene diamine groups are there, hence we can say it is a bis ethylene diamine to cobalt ion. So cobalt to ion will be there. So option number 3 is the correct answer for geometrical isomerism. First one is two chelating rings are on the same side. It is called cis isomer. Here two isomers are in the opposite position. Hence it is called a trans isomer. The next question. Which of the following statement is false? Splitting of spectral lines in the electrical field is called Stark effect. Electrical field splitting is called Stark effect. Magnetic field splitting is called Zeeman effect. This is the correct answer only. Frequency of emitted radiation from black body form a longer wavelength of higher wavelength as the temperature increases. This is only the wrong option. From the black body, when temperature increases, emits high energy radiation. High energy radiation in the sense, when we are rising temperature, high energy radiation will be emitted. That is nothing but lower wavelength, because wavelength is the reciprocal of energy. Hence, it is not the longer wavelength, it should be the lower wavelength. Hence, higher wavelength higher wavelength is not observed in case of this one. Photon has momentum as well as wavelength. This is also correct one. So photon contains both particle nature and wave nature. So particle nature is given by momentum, wave nature is given by wavelength. This is the correct option. Rydberg constant has the units of energy. So Rydberg constant expressed in terms of length units, length inverse is nothing but centimeter inverse, whereas energy is expressed in joules. So this is also not a correct answer. Option number 2 and option number 4 are false statements. That's why 2, 4 both we have to indicate as false. Now, next one, match the following questions. Here, phenelzine was taken. Phenelzine here itself it is possessing. So the compounds and here what kind of functional group, what kind of skeletal moiety is there we have to identify. Phenolzine, in this zine is there, that is nothing but it is the compound of hydrogen. Hence we can easily match with this hydrogen. Phenolzine is nothing but hydrogen compound. Chloroxylenol, xylenol stands for, so where benzene ring contains OH and methyl group both, that is called a xylo functional group. Here xylenol is there, that stands for phenol. Phenol moiety will be there in that. Uracil, uracil is a DNA base. DNA is made up of purines and pyrimidines. So DNA base uracil, it comes under pyrimidine base. Ranitidine, ranitidine is an anti-ulcer compound, antihistamine, which is the 5-membered heterocyclic compound, that is furan ring. 5-membered heterocyclic with oxygen as a heteroatom, that is nothing but furan. Phenelzine mainly used for depression. Those who are suffering from depression and anxiety, for that, for those patients we have to treat with phenelzine. It is an antidepressant. Chloroxylenol, it is antiseptic agent. Uracil is a DNA base. Ranitidine is antihistamine, which is the anti-ulcer compound. The correct options will be phenelzine contains hydrogen, chloroxylenol contains phenol, uracil contains pyrimidine base, ranitidine contains furan ring. Okay, which option is matching with this? Phenelzine is hydrogen. A with R. A with R we have two options. Chloroxylenol matches with phenol. B with S. Here also B with S. 2, 3 both are matching. Uracil pyrimidine. So C with P. Here C with Q is the wrong answer. C with P is the correct answer. So option number 2 is the correct answer. Today's session we completed all the important questions. I hope this will be very much helpful to you. Thank you. Thank you.